this episode of Swell Tales, we went to Imperial Beach, California, to seek out Alan Dempsey Holder. We met Dempsey along with friends Jim Voigt and Russ Elwell. These surfing pioneers were our guests in our segment we call Legends and Personalities.
Yeah, what year was it you first started surfing here?
Well, when I first started surfing, it had been 1940. I came from San Diego, yes, over to here. I started this longboard, hollow longboard. Well, I didn't do that until around 1940.
1940.
Yeah.
1940. What about the waves down in Imperial Beach? Down there at the sloughs, how big did they get in the wintertime? A long time, when you first saw them, how big were they then?
Oh, I call what we call anywhere from 15 to over 20-foot waves. Right up there.
So how did these hollow boards work on those big waves?
The hollow boards?
Yeah, on a big, say on a 15-foot wave down the
Well,
sloughs.
the performance is dominated by the length of it, length and weight of it, but most of them were weighed 125 pounds to 130 pounds. So this is the longboards I'm talking about.
Our conversation that day took in many subjects, but we were interested in hearing about the days when they rode Tijuana sloughs, the biggest makeable wave in Southern California.
When there, how many breaks are there sloughs? Doesn't it have,
Yeah.
Jimmy, you know, they're in there about 3 breaks down there in them sloughs.
Well, there was
Outside.
three breaks, and then on the outside we had 3 areas of the outside which we called first, second, and third notch, and we call them that by that name because of the lineup in which there was a telephone pole or some structure on the beach which we lined up with some notches in the hills in the background.
Is the third notch the farthest
Third notch was outside where it broke when it got 15 feet or more.
Tell us about some of those days. I want to hear about that.
Well, I'd like to go back to what Dempsey was talking about earlier when he first started surfing down here. I recall a story, Dempsey, and I don't know whether you remember it, but if you go south from where you enter the water at Imperial Beach, you get out of the shadow of the reef. And the shore break can be absolutely horrendous if you drift down to the south. And I remember the story, Dempsey, was that you had lost your board on the outside before the days of wetsuits, and ended up washing down to the south and having to come through that 12 to 15 foot shore break. I mean, it comes out of the deep water there. You know, Russell.
Yeah, I know. There's in those days we had no leashes on the board.
And Dempsey almost drowned down there.
Yeah, you had to swim.
Tell us about that, Dempsey. Remember that story? It was before I worked here.
I never thought myself as being in danger of drowning. I've been frightened by it, but I've never had any doubt about it.
You remember getting washed down to the south and having to come through that southern shore break?
Numbers of times. That was just the way of surfing. That's all.
How far? That was a long swim. Wanted to come in with it.
From outside it was.
Yes.
It was, and
there were
no wetsuits and no leashes on the board. So
there were a lot of tactics involved too. There was a rip that ran out to the south, right off the slough area. Mm-hmm. You had to avoid that rip. If you went to the north of the rip, you got in the breaker line. If you went to the south of the rip, you got into that bad position where you were in the heavy shore break down to the south, and you just didn't want to come in through there. And then, of course, the current would be moving you down towards Mexico. So there's some tactical decisions to be made swimming in from the outside there, in that cold water, with no wetsuit on.
Oh, well, we knew everybody up and down the coast that it rode the outside. I don't know what they'd do if I had to surf in the crowded conditions, but it did add a bit of safety.
It was an elite group then. Remember, they could leave their surfboards down at
Well, you leave on the-
overnight.
Yeah, on
the
your car,
beach, and it'd be there.
And on top of
It'd
your
be
car too, and everybody knew everybody's
Yeah.
surfboard, didn't they? The way it was shaped, they knew who would. So nobody sold any boards, and you could go up the coast and stay at somebody's house, and they'd
Yeah.
put you up in their home. And
Russ, you remember that?
yes, I remember this. Yeah, I remember going up to these Malibu and other beaches where people would actually help you out and put you up in their home. You could stay with them.
What would you tell them? What message would you give them just going off here?
Oh, I'd say, be sure you get home by dinner.
You get on by then.
So I live down here, and I have two grandsons. Oh, really? I was getting Sean. There's a lot of surfers in that valley.
Russ, what would you say?
I don't. I don't know. Just I still surf, and I think it's a great form of, exercise and relaxation, and something you can do forever. I think.
What would you say to them? Mellow out, enjoy life?
Yeah, keep surfing and enjoy life. And what we need to do is really start taking care of our beaches. The problem with sewage now and things like this, and
Get involved?
getting involved. Yeah, keeping the beach clean, and also share the beach with everybody. I mean, the beach is a public thing. Everybody should be able to have access to it.
Jimmy, what would you say?
Well, I'd say you missed the golden years.
We'll say goodbye for now to these former lifeguards and watermen.
Every trench, man, and every curve, rode every twisted track.